Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Superintendent. I want to acknowledge Alderman Chris Taliaferro, our chairman of the Public Safety Committee and City Council, as well as Rich Gaitis and members of the command staff, including First Deputy Eric Carter. We are waking up in shock this morning. In the early morning hours of today, dozens of individuals came to our Loop, Mag Mile, River North, and Gold Coast neighborhoods, as well as our commercial district around North and Clybourne. These individuals engaged in what can only be described as brazen and extensive criminal looting and destruction. And to be clear, this had nothing to do with legitimate, protected First Amendment expression. As the superintendent said, we are currently investigating reports that this activity was connected to a shooting and resulting activity that took place in Inglewood yesterday. But regardless, what occurred in our downtown and surrounding communities was abject criminal behavior, pure and simple. And there cannot be any excuse for it, period. This is not legitimate First Amendment protected speech. These were not poor people engaged in petty theft to feed themselves and their families. This was straight up felony criminal conduct. We have activated a neighborhood protection plan, as the superintendent alluded to, which involves city agencies like Streets and Sand, CDOT, Aviation, working in coordination with the Chicago Police Department. These resources are being deployed throughout our city to protect our neighborhoods. And likewise, these measures will be in place for the foreseeing days until we know that our neighborhoods are safe. What happened in our city last night and this morning, of course, is deeply painful for every Chicagoan. As the superintendent said, this was an assault on our city. It undermines public safety and breeds a sense of insecurity among our residents. It also undermines our recovery efforts. These same stores that were hit last night were hit previously, not just by the looting, but by closures related to COVID-19. Stores that were targeted were more than just large chain stores. They were all small businesses and restaurants, representing our city's jobs and livelihoods, all of which were in the process of recovering or on the verge of recovering and getting back to work. And now this. I want to give my sincere thanks to the men and women of our police department for their professionalism throughout these very difficult times, not just last night. To our residents, I want you to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to secure your homes and stores and to allow you to return to your daily activities safely and securely. And to our businesses, we will continue our efforts working with you and redoubling our efforts to support you and your efforts to reopen and recover. And to those who engage in this criminal behavior, let's be clear. We are coming for you. We are already at work on finding you, and we intend to hold you accountable for your actions. I don't care. I do not care whatever justification was given for this. There is no justification for criminal behavior ever. You have no right to take and destroy the property of others. Our residents deserve to be safe. Our businesses deserve to understand and enjoy safety and security of their property and in their employees. And our police officers deserve to be able to do their job without having to worry about shots being fired, projectiles being thrown, and being maced. This is not anywhere near acceptable. And I call upon our state's attorney and our courts to make sure that these individuals who are arrested and those to come are held accountable. Put your best people on this. We have made the case. We have the video. We have the officer testimony. These people need to be held accountable and not cycled through the system. And judges that are holding these cases, you need to step up and be responsible. We can't continue to allow this to happen. And as the superintendent said, for people to believe that there is no accountability through our criminal justice system. No one wants to hold people in jail because they are poor. But people who engage in this kind of criminal activity, they need to be held accountable. And we can't do it alone. We need the prosecution and we need the courts to step up and do their part as well. And that is certainly my hope and my expectation. The gains that we have been able to make as a city through all these challenges, the pandemic, the righteous uprising in the wake of the murder of George Floyd, the other things that we have done to demonstrate that Chicago is back and resilient. We've been able to do this because we stood together, shoulder to shoulder, neighborhood to neighborhood, neighbor to neighbor. And we can't abandon that which has served us well over this most difficult time. But part of that means that we have to also step up in a time of challenge like this one and give no shelter to the criminals. You've heard me say this before. The people who are the shooters, as well as the people who are the looters. People in neighborhoods know who these folks are. This is your time to step up and demonstrate your allegiance and your loyalty to this city and report these people who are engaged in criminal activity. We cannot do this without you, and we need every single person with knowledge or information to step up. You can do that anonymously by calling the tip line. But we need people to step up. We are not going to let our city be taken over by criminals and vigilantes, no matter who they are, what they're doing. This is a time for us all to step up, and we will do just that. At this time, I'd invite Alderman Taliaferro to say a few words, and then we'll be joined by Director Guidas from OEMC. Alderman.